The hypogeum is an enormous subterranean structure excavated 4,524 years ago, lifting huge blocks of limestone, all thanks to this group yet again for their input. And I thought that we had covered most of this topic, but I kept digging, and we are not even close. Today, we are going back for more. For anyone new, we are speaking about the hypogeum, located in Malta, more specifically, in the town of Paola, where they found this underground temple in 1902, discovering it while constructing houses, blocking the public, all of us, from the area for nearly a decade, where they found 7,000 elongated skulls, destroying most of them, and then hiding the remaining ones from the public. And we have shown all of this. Now today, I wanted to go back because there are things that blew my mind. One of the most striking characteristics of this location is that some of the chambers appear to have been cut in imitation of the architecture of the above-ground megalithic temples. Doing all of this underground. Are you seeing what this means? I'll keep going. Where they found false bays and windows. Underground windows. Can you see very clearly now? This temple is underground now, but I don't believe that it always was. Most importantly, the ceiling with one ring of carved stone overhanging the one below to supposedly imitate a roof. Imitating a roof? Or was this just a roof? Was this a temple? Just on the ground level when it was constructed, with the event that we've talked about so many times, burying it, and in doing so, killing the 7,000 plus individuals inside. Is the previous civilization, just like we found here, buried under our feet right now, all over the world, and we have yet to find it? And to prove our point here, the mainstream thinks this was some sort of burial ritual, saying that it appears that the bodies were probably left exposed until the flesh had decomposed and fallen off, when in reality, these individuals were most likely killed on the spot from the event that took place. And if there were any that didn't die immediately, they would have been trapped underground. Individuals were not buried separately, but piled onto each other. This is all according to our friends right up here at the top. It makes so much more sense that this was not a burial site at all. It was originally above ground, and they were then trapped under the ground in this event and tossed the deceased into the pile. Remember, this event melted structures all over the world. We have shown so many examples of this. The original structure definitely could have been melted, now leaving it look like it was chiseled. Chiseled with an antler, like we have shown. We have seen so many times all over the world that the old world is buried below our feet. Something massive happened here, 100%. It's undeniable at this point. And like I said, I wanted to go deeper. I wanted to show you even more. So I went back to the hypogeum of the Volumnus family, located in Italy. This site includes about 200 tombs, and then finding this one in 1840, and then knowing all about the 2nd and 3rd century BC. They found this one while carrying out excavation works for a new road, where it seems like it was used until the 1st century BC. It seems like it. Unbelievable. Having 10 rooms and 2 winged demons guarding the entrance. Again, finding all of this while putting in a nice road and a sidewalk for all of us, showing that most people have no idea what is under their feet. We haven't even found it all, and we know this. And it all predates the horses and wagons nonsense. Stone structures of winged demons an advanced group, underneath our feet. And then it all goes back to dirt roads and sheds. No technology and writing by feather. Or are we not being told the truth? You tell me. Remember, we are in Italy, and I told you we were coming back for a reason. Are you ready? Right here in front of the main entrance sits a collection of urns found in the necropolis in other tombs, belonging to other families. It seems that they were all painted with various scenes, some with the griffin. The griffin, yet again, Tartaria. I don't believe that this griffin was so mythical after all, and I don't think it was here that long ago. With other representations of Greek mythology, not so mythical after all in my opinion, and found because we were going to build a road. Oh, and what happened to that guy's head? Maybe there was a random earthquake 800 years ago that just wanted his head and left everything else just perfectly fine. Now check this picture out. This was found making a road. I just cannot even imagine what else we haven't seen yet or has been removed from us already. This is incredible. Our history is missing so much. The reset clearly took place within the last few hundred years, throwing us right back into the horse and wagon era, removing all technology, removing all the history, all the knowledge about this place that we all live. I've seen enough at this point where I believe that there were angels here, as well as demons, and I have no idea if they're really gone. Again, this place was found in 1840. This is the timeline that we have talked about so many times. Our current civilization, all of us, starting back in the 1800s. We have episode 10 and 38 that show everything that's been given back to us within these last few hundred years. Who lived here before we all got here? It's crazy to look at the depictions of the past. If they didn't put it all in stone, we would have no idea what used to be here. Because we're definitely not told about these things, about demons or angels being involved with humans. And we all know that that story was removed from the book. The narrative that demons and angels were involved with the humans, this narrative is folklore, supposedly. Yet, we see the angels and we see the demons intertwined into the buildings, right into the stone, into the stories that are being depicted on these buildings within the stone art in every single continent. Clearly, this was the civilization that constructed the old world palaces. This one on the bottom right looks like he has a tool in his hand, having huge hands for being so small. Same with the other one on the left. But it's all just art, of course. We get a good look at the whole room right here. And see where they found these. It's right when you walk in. And I wouldn't be shocked if they are guarding something behind that wall. And let's be honest, we all know that we're not seeing everything that was originally down there before they found it. Things were removed. We all know this now. Should I prove it? Well, right here, we can see that there were items in here. And this is today. Could you even imagine 100 years ago? This place that we all live was probably a free-for-all. So today we get this photo. The chains are up. We have a bunch of items here all over the floor. Then flipping to this photo, it's all gone. Even the thing on the wall is changed. The other one is just removed. So we know that whatever was down here in 1839, a year before they found it, unfortunately, it is not here anymore. And let's just be honest, it's shocking that they left anything at all. If they would have just taken all of these statues out, we probably wouldn't suspect a thing. All found underground while making a road in Italy. Absolutely incredible stuff. And look where this place is located. If you were just driving past, you would have no idea that this is in there. Look at this. It honestly looks like they want it to be hidden. It's so weird. If you were walking past this place, never done any research, you would have no clue that this is inside. It's crazy. Just knowing that. Could you imagine what is underneath all these people's houses? Or at least what was. Surely there are tunnels. And I bet people go to this musical academy today and have no clue that this is right next to them. We have a bar right here to the right, and I bet none of them know what's inside the building to the left. An incredible operation worldwide to suppress our true history. I'm glad thousands of us know about this place now. Let's go to Syria. Staying with the hypogeum topic, because this one is just insane. The hypogeum of Yarhe, where the underground tomb was supposedly built in 108 AD, not 107 and not 109. Can you believe this nonsense? I need everybody to understand that they are not pinning down the date of 108 AD. It's not happening. And they go on to say that this underground tomb was originally located in the Palmyra's Valley of the Tombs before being excavated and restored, destroyed. The underground tomb was then moved to Damascus in 1935 and was then moved again and placed in its National Museum. Can you even imagine what we are not being shown? This is insane. Moving things around in 1935 and later placing it somewhere else. And you can see here with the AI ChatGPT that they are influencing it. If you didn't know the truth, they are trying to change this narrative. I asked when it was found, and the AI says it was found in 1983. So I replied that I thought it was moved to Damascus in 1935, like we were told. The AI replies, "You're correct. It was indeed moved to Damascus in 1935. Here's the correct information for you." Can you believe this? Overriding the truth. Why are they so against telling us the truth over and over, hiding that they moved it? Can you believe that we have to correct the AI? Very clearly, a human entered that information in there about this story. So I said, what year was it found? Because it does not want to answer this question. Finally giving us the answer after backing it into a corner and pulling its teeth. It was found in 1933. And they did not want to tell us this. Because once you know that it was found in 1933, you know that they moved it in 1935 to Damascus, just 2 years later. So finding this and then moving it 2 years later. So what else did they find in Palmyra? What was wrong with the first location? Why did it need to be moved so fast, 150 miles away? Remember, this thing was just fine for centuries. This is according to them, their narrative. So what I want to know is, why did they need to move it? The decision to move it to Damascus in 1935 was driven by the need to protect and preserve it. Can you believe this? So we are clearly not going to be told the truth here. The carvings were vulnerable due to the exposure of the elements, the temperature fluctuations, a bunch of lies, since they just told us that this thing was there from the year 108 on the dot. Moving it to Damascus in 1935 made it more accessible to scholars, historians, and archaeologists. Oh, the poor archaeologists. They can't get in their car and go see the historic site, so they just needed it moved closer to their apartment. It's embarrassing. This narrative is a joke, and this statue right here in the middle, he also got his head chopped off. Now that we know they are hiding something massive about this, now I'm going to go back to the original site and investigate what is going on there in Palmyra, Syria, because we know that something is off now. All right, this is the site today. Palmyra, Syria. You are now being exposed to the world. Let's have some fun. Palmyra, meaning the city of palm trees. No palm trees. But I do see a massive palace that has been completely destroyed. A palace from the old world, 100%. And what is this? 8 years ago, we get an article that this group right here is destroying the old world, destroying the Venice of the sands, piece by piece. Will this organization erase the memory of the extraordinary history? In 1900, a British traveler, Gertrude Bell, wrote, "I wonder if the world presents a more singular landscape. It is a mass of columns, ranged into long avenues, grouped into temples, lying broken in the sand. Beyond them is the immense Temple of Baal." More destroyed heads right here. Every single one of them are destroyed. Clearly, we have located a site that is from the old world and was extremely important to a civilization that was here. To give this a little context, for anyone new to this research, within the Old Testament, Baal was worshipped by the Israelites. Worshipping Baal was seen as a major threat to the worship of Yahweh, the God of Israel. This text gets really deep. I won't be reading it all, but you can see a lot of it. The worship of Baal is often associated with moral corruption. The biblical authors depict Baal worship as leading the Israelites into practices that are contrary to the laws and moral expectations set by Yahweh, including rituals of these two things. With Jeremiah 19:5 stating that the Israelites are condemned for building high places to Baal and burning this as offerings. Now, let's get back to this location. What was going on here? What was going on in Syria before we all got here? What was going on at the Temple of Baal? A photo from 2009. Again, all of the faces removed over and over, everywhere in the world. In the background here, we have a structure that has been completely melted, in my opinion. So knowing what we know about this location now, let's go further. The temple was built on a tell. Do we all understand what that means? A tell is an archaeological term referring to a mound or hill that forms from centuries of human settlement over time as people build and rebuild in the same area. Each new layer of construction builds on top of the old. When a temple is built on a tell, it means that the temple is constructed on top of this layered mound of the past civilizations. Can you even believe what we just read? The Temple of Baal is constructed on top of a previous civilization's work, a tell. There is 100% more beneath this temple, and we now know that. This temple that we just saw was most likely not used for positive things, was then converted into a Christian church in 1132. They just couldn't help it. They had to pick the place that had crazy things going on, including sacrifices and rituals. Couldn't they have picked a different place? No, they couldn't. The 1920s comes around, and they cleared the temple grounds of all of its post-classical elements. They destroyed it. Clearly something happened here in this location. Advanced technology, 100%. Advanced construction. And I have no idea whether this previous civilization that was here was a great bunch. I don't know if they were great beings with great morals, but what I do know is that we are not being told the truth about them. And we also know that they could easily construct palaces. And it was not with a hammer and chisel, and they were not riding around on horses. The previous civilization had all of the technology that we see today, and so much more. We are being given some of this technology back slowly, and we know this now. Now I'm gonna take this to Google Earth and show you this area. Look at all these columns, all the way down this road. We get the amphitheater, hammers and chisels, of course, donkey riding cowboys of the past. No. It's like an old world city here. They have palaces all over the place, like some sort of resort or something. And they have a stage where who knows what took place right here. Then, well, just based on what we read, I think we kind of know. Then we have another destroyed structure here. This place is completely destroyed. Stone all over the place. Again, look at this road. The whole thing is filled with columns. Did any one of us learn about this place in our history classes? No? Why not? I think we all know why. Spinning the camera around so we can see it, look at this. With arches and everything. More columns over here. Another palace in the background. And then, of course, the Temple of Baal. Remember, we know that there are structures from the past right underneath this place as well. Keep that in mind. Look at the size of this temple. It's massive, measuring out to 434,893 square feet. Its perimeter is a half mile. Now I'm going to put that into perspective and measure the Great Pyramid of Giza, the biggest one. It's basically the exact same size. The pyramid in Giza has a slightly longer perimeter of 0.56 miles. This Temple of Baal was massive. This is crazy. This site is huge. Just random columns all over the place. Look at this picture, showing that there was so much more. And then we see the Statue of Liberty right on the site. Now, when we go back and see that they removed this from this location in Syria and moved it to Damascus in 1935, we can see that this was most likely happening over and over and over in the early 1900s, removing so many things that we don't get to see today. Just like we were told when the 1920s hit, they cleared the temple grounds of its elements, taking everything of significance from this site and hiding it from all of us 100%. This is so clear now. This research shows that we are missing so much of the true story. Massive stone structures, hundreds of columns, arches towering over us while we walk through. We all got reset, back to donkeys and wagons. Reset from stone palaces to wooden huts. No lights and freezing in the winters. Going to the bathroom in your backyard. The further that we go into this research, the more we have to ask, where are we? And what are we not being told? Who is controlling this ridiculous narrative that we're all taught since day one? And why? The further that we go, the more we advance our knowledge, we see patterns. We see the flaws clearer and clearer. And once we all know the truth, we will never go back. The Temple of Baal, located in Syria, is so much more than just crumbled stone. In my opinion, it is a haunting reminder that the previous civilization had a very dark side. We showed the Temple of Baal, but did you know that right next to this site in Syria, we have a castle from the old world, located up on top of a cliff, where we all know just by looking at this and all of the research that we've done to this point, we know that this thing is so much bigger and has been completely melted and turned into sand. We know that they told us that the Temple of Baal, that is right here, right next to this castle, where I believe they were both constructed by the same group during the exact same period. We were told that the Temple of Baal was found in 32 AD. 32 AD. Not 31, not 33, but pinning it down to 32 AD. With a side note that we are correct yet again. It is inaccessible today due to being in a war zone. War zones. These zones, in my opinion, are to block the public from seeing what was there, or what still is. When the main entrance has been destroyed, a great way to destroy the true history, to just blow it up and chalk it up to a war. So 32 AD, This one is constructed 2,000 years ago. Then they wait like 1,200 years to build a castle. This is what we are being told, right next to each other, 1,200 years apart. I think this is very obvious that these structures were constructed during the exact same time period. This entire location was clearly an old world city, a palace city, and I don't believe it was thousands of years ago. I believe it was so much closer to our timeline than what we are being told, and has been mostly destroyed, making it look older than it is. With our friends over here at this group, interested in our favorite locations yet again, stating that this one is one of the most important cultural centers of the ancient world, the old world, the previous civilization. This is the Tadmor Castle, and was placed on the list of World Heritage Sites in Danger in 2013 due to an ongoing Syrian civil war. The castle was captured by the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant in 2015, then recaptured in 2016. Now remember, it was supposedly perfectly fine for centuries until our timeline comes around and it starts being captured every year and then put into endangered war zones. What kind of season does this sound like to you? Making the case stronger and stronger, making it sound like a little season to me, with the Book of Life on the way. It's all very interesting, with retreating ISIS fighters blowing up parts of the castle, including the stairway leading to the entrance, causing extensive damage, all right in front of our faces. Yet I would bet even some of our greatest history majors have most likely never even seen this place before. All by design. This location definitely wasn't highlighted in History 101, 102, or whatever other number they want to make up. With a few more captures here in 2016, and again in 2017. Every year, recapturing this place. It's ridiculous. And even more ridiculous is that we are told that this was built by the Mamluks. And why is this ridiculous? Well, because Mamluks translates to one who is owned, or down here stating much clearer, originally the Mamluks were this word. Again, not going to say that word ever again here, since we had a major issue with it in the past. So we're going to leave that word alone, but you can see it right here. So let's read this again. The Old World Palace Castle was built 1,200 years later by a bunch of Laves with an S at the front. These stories are insane. To believe that this kind of group can construct a palace castle that lasts forever is insane to believe at this point. While they were purchased property, their status was above ordinary. The people that worked for free back in the 1300s, these are the people that we are told are the master builders of the past. It's incredible. No training necessary, just going up on that cliff with no power tools, in the sand and building a palace castle 800 years ago. And it just so happens that it's right next to hundreds of columns and a temple the size of the Pyramid of Giza. All a coincidence, of course. No. So because there's a war going on here, we don't get to drop the guy down on this location and look around. Could you imagine waking up and here's the supermarket with your sports club over here and a hair salon. Then you have temples, castles, and the Tower of Elebol, all right outside your window in the morning, all dating back 2,000 years. Thanks to the experts, we know this now. Well, no, we don't. When we all show up and the tower was demolished using explosives in 2015, this is a clear attack on the true history to hide what really happened here where we all live, blocking sites off from us, calling it a war, and then bombing these places. It happens over and over. In this shot, we also see the Damascus Gate. This is Palmyra. So I'm gonna guess that this was renamed since Damascus is 134 miles away. And I could honestly look at this picture all day. I believe this picture proves that the history that we were all given is a complete lie. It proves that something happened here. An extremely advanced group was here and is now gone and is 100% being hidden from all of us, telling us that we are the most advanced group to ever be here. This lie is no longer acceptable. Clearly, there's been a civilization, and most likely civilizations, that have been here with incredible technology, and their construction proves this. It's left here all over the place for all of us to see, which is exactly why they have to blow it all up. Because it takes the mainstream narrative and it rips it right in half. It completely destroys story time for the mainstream lovers. We are exposing it all and proving that this place that we all live is so much more than what we are told. Obviously, I had to come back to this location. It's extremely significant to our research and needed to be explored further. Having columns destroyed all over the place, telling us that this is from 2,000 years ago, a site that none of us can go and see today. Regardless of which religion the historical sites worshipped, or still do, I believe that they are very important to understanding the true past of this place that we all live, and should not be destroyed today, just because we don't agree with what they were used for. This being said, there are some groups here today that may be planted to destroy the true history, and they might not agree with what I just stated. When this group, having a history of destroying ancient structures, stating that they would destroy any artifacts that they didn't agree with religiously, and proceeded to detonate a large quantity of explosives inside the temple of Baal, completely destroying the building in 2015. And I want to be very clear, this is a separate temple than the Temple of Baal that we've previously covered, where the temple was also destroyed. Not only did they destroy both of these temples, they also destroyed the monumental arch. The same exact arch that I said I could look at all day, because it gives it all away. That arch is gone. When it was officially destroyed in 2015, destroying structures and sites all over the world. Sites that easily prove that something is off about what we've all been told. And they say they have plans to rebuild it. Right. Yeah, you're not rebuilding that. We all know that's not going to happen.
Too many beautiful cities. I've seen those cities. They're so beautiful, and that, I don't know how you can ever rebuild them the way they were. It's not possible. I don't know how you can ever rebuild them the way they were. It's not possible.
When this is our civilization's replica, at this point, we shouldn't even embarrass ourselves. Saying we're going to rebuild things from the old world, it actually exposes the fact that we can't do it, or it takes so much longer. It exposes the truth. Blowing this site up using dynamite, and in 2016, very little of the arch remained standing. You are always free to think whatever you'd like. As always, I am simply speaking based on everything that we have seen throughout so many hours of research here. Now, I do believe that this was most likely the site where Baal was located. I also don't believe that this took place thousands of years ago. Like I've stated, I believe that this is why there is an obvious attempt, even to this day, to destroy it all. To prove my point, why didn't anybody go in there and destroy this place in 1650? Why not 1420, the year 1000? Well, it's because, of course, in my opinion, those years are not real, at least the way that we think about them. I believe the actual year is fabricated. I don't believe that this temple was erected 2,000 years ago. There was an advanced civilization here that constructed these things within the last few hundred years. And all of their work is here for us to see. And I do not believe that these so-called myths are so mythical after all. I think this place that we all live today is much different than we all understand, where we are all coming together and exposing the lies, showing the massive flaws in the stories. We are told that they are myths, and then see massive temples all over the place that are being destroyed over and over. Proof that what we're being told is a lie. Proof that a group of people were here that understood construction. Why hide a place from all of us if it's all just a myth? In mythological texts, Baal's dwelling is described as a magnificent palace with silver and gold, guarded like a fortress. All a myth, of course. Not anymore. The Temple of Baal was one of the most important temples in the ancient Near East and served as a focal point for religious ceremonies. Religious ceremonies, including sacrifices, just like we talked about in episode 97. All a myth, of course, with palaces all over the place and the whole thing blown up right in front of our faces. All a myth, with text frequently describing this taking place. All dedicated to this figure. Not only do we see this figure in text from modern day Syria, we see it written on clay tablets. We also see it in the Bible, the Old Testament, mentioning Baal worship multiple times, with references to this, with their locations right here. All just a myth, of course. Oh wait, what is this? Archaeological excavations at ancient Baal worship sites, such as Palmyra, found remnants that suggest sacrificial activity, showing that these so-called myths may not be so mythical after all. Just like we've seen so many times. Finding bones at the site with multiple texts confirming this activity. Again, you are always free to think whatever you'd like, but I don't believe that these texts are from thousands of years ago. I believe our timeline is a total mess and a complete fabrication of our true history. There are certain groups that still worship certain things today. Do you think that they're just worshiping a mythical creature? You tell me. Now, we were told that they were uncovering bones at Palmyra, the exact same location that we have been investigating today. They also mention another location. Before we enter this location, we need to understand that there were texts found in this location. They found the text titled the Baal Cycle, a collection of texts. The Baal Cycle is composed of several epic poems or narrative fragments. The Baal Cycle provides indirect evidence of the types of rituals and offerings associated with Baal worship. They found all of this right here. They reflect the importance of rituals in ensuring Baal's favor and prosperity of the community. All of this within the text. Rituals included offerings which were sacrificed to appease Baal and secure his blessings. The sacrifices were performed by priests. And then we can go back to the catacombs and see what they have done. Right underneath so many churches. What have they done? What have we just found? Have they been practicing something that worships the opposite side without any of us knowing it? Using our structures that were originally meant for good. What practice has taken place worldwide? What are we seeing today? Did we just show the cause of the catacombs a ritualistic intention, just like we have shown into geometric patterns, a sacrifice right under the church's floorboards using the priest? We are told that the sacrifices were performed by the priests. This is unbelievable. Just over 200 miles driving from the Temple of Baal, all located in Syria. We have this location where they found the tablets, the location in which they found the Baal Cycle. The story. We are told that this is the location where the world got its first alphabet. And this is all documented, of course. No. With great fires taking place here as well. When they tell us the city seems to have been burnt, and the population probably diminished. Probably. Maybe. But we will never know according to the mainstream narrative. Just throwing things in there. It probably was from 32 AD. Probably. It might have been. Now they tell us that the city seems to have been burnt and the population probably diminished, but I have a feeling that they burned it down recently, just like every other city in the world. So going back to this map, we can see that there was something of significance going on here. And a side note really quick, look how you can drop the guy down all over Europe. But once you go further south into Africa and the Middle East, it's just mass amounts of land that are unavailable to our view. Thousands and thousands of miles of land that I'm sure have clues to our past, either sitting on top of or underneath the layer of sand. And so much being hidden from us. For instance, look at this. It looks like there's nothing here. Like all there is just a bunch of sand. But once you click on it, we have so much going on. Playgrounds and the rest. It's like there's a civilization there that is not what we are shown from the aerial shot. It's very odd. So let's go back to the action. We are now shown 5 main sites in this city. The fortress, the main palace, the Acropolis, another temple of Baal, and the temple of Dagon, where we all know here that there is so much under our feet that would blow our minds today. When we see that after the chance discovery by local peasants in 1929, they excavated this site, unearthing the palace, which also gave us the tablets and artifacts, the previous civilization, the old world, finding more than 1,000 tablets in 1929, found right off the coast of modern-day Syria. Finding these tablets in 1929. It hasn't even been 100 years yet. Finding the Baal Cycle. 1,000 tablets. Could you even imagine what they found? Finding the Baal Cycle, including stories all about Baal. Now, what other stories are hidden below the surface? What are we not being shown? And what did they really find in 1929? Were any other stories found within those 1,000 tablets? What do you think? This place that we live is incredible. These are now places that we will all never forget. These are now stories that we will remember forever. Taking our research deeper and deeper, finding the truth all over the world, exposing that something massive happened right here where we are today. All happening within the last few hundred years. We're also exposing that the past, the old world stories, were being uncovered just 95 years ago in a location that we were told was mythical, where it doesn't seem so mythical after all. And the truth is going to be harder and harder to find the longer that we wait. Just like we see with these tablets, the site where the tablets were found has been affected by the conflict, and the exact extent of damage or loss to these specific tablets is less clear. They have removed the truth yet again. We are told that peasants found these stories just 95 years ago. 1,000 tablets is what we're told, when we know that there were probably more, and removing them from us right away, without a doubt. Withholding information that would go against the mainstream story. Telling us that the initial excavations revealed that they just found some pottery. Do you remember when I told you to remember the pottery? So they tell us they found some pottery. And don't forget the pottery. I believe the pottery is something that they give us so that we don't dig deeper. Don't forget this because I'm going to show it again in future episodes. Remember the pottery. I no longer believe this to be the case. I think we all know now that they found much more than just some pottery, especially when we know that they found royal palaces, where excavations revealed the remains of grand royal palaces, large multi-story structures with elaborate decorations and extensive facilities. They found all of this And they found temples, including the Temple of Baal, finding high priests' libraries containing a wealth of texts. The high priest's library was particularly important for its collection of religious and mythological texts, including the Baal Cycle, the legend of Daniel, and the death of Baal. These are the stories that we are told about, where we all know that there were so many more. All of this found in the 1920s, with more libraries located on the Acropolis, with more texts found in these libraries. Could you even imagine the information from the past that was found, that we're all not being told about? With access to the physical artifacts, the texts being restricted to ensure their preservation. Are we sure that this is the case? Restricting the public, impacting their accessibility to the public. It seems like an incredible excuse to me. And then making sure we all get excited about the pottery. I don't know about you, but I think I'm about done with all the pottery. I want to see the old world texts. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I'll be back very soon with much more. See ya.